Weekend, with the Premier announcing the first steps towards easing coronavirus restrictions as the state continues to flatten the curve. Anastasia Palaszczuk joins us now from Brisbane. Premier, good morning to you. Thank you for your time.
Morning, Carl.
Firstly,
No worries.
can you give us the latest case numbers overnight?
Yeah, sure. We've just, it's literally just come into me and we've had 3 overnight. So continuing that downward pressure on that curve. So once again, that's good news that Queenslanders are doing the right thing. And once again, most of these cases are from returning Australians coming back to Queensland.
It is good news. Take us through these new coronavirus rules. There'll be some confusion out there.
Yeah, sure. So what's going to happen from midnight on Friday night, so starting next weekend, is we recognise that Queenslanders have done a great job in trying to flatten that curve. And so we also know it's having a big impact on people's mental health. So we thought that we could lift some stay-at-home restrictions so people will be able to go for a drive, visit a national park, teach their child how to drive. So these are just some of the measures. They can go boating, they can go jet skiing, they can go for a motorcycle ride. But what we're asking people to do is to continue with the social distancing. That's number one. And secondly, it has to be your own household, or if you're living by yourself, with a friend. And picnics are allowed as well. So look, I think people are going to be very supportive of this. It's beautiful weather in Queensland, getting a bit of the outdoors, getting out of home, but still staying safe. And we can't have mass gatherings. And of course, people who live close to the Gold Coast can go to the Gold Coast beaches, Carl.
Okay, some of the big issues with the beaches and picnics are that you get more than 10 people from the same group of people. That's a hard one to restrict, isn't it? What is your advice, and what are you telling police in order to control that?
Yeah, well, police are very aware that we cannot see mass gatherings. So we're really asking people to do the right thing here. If you're going to the beach, go with your household, or if you're single, go with one other person. This is really important. Also, people can go shopping for non-essential items. But once again, social distancing is the key here. And now that the federal government's also announced that app, I think that's an added protective measure for all Queenslanders.
Have you signed up for the app yet?
I'm going to. My sister Julia beat me to the punch, and she sent around a text message to our entire family this morning telling the whole family to sign up. So I'm a bit disappointed I didn't get in first.
Yeah, well, you've got to do what your sister tells you to do, right?
That's right. She's the youngest one too. She's the toughest.
Well, if people here's the thing. If people can go out, hop on a jet ski or have a picnic in the park or line up at Bunnings, whatever they want to do, why can't kids go back to school?
Well, Carl, you tell me which other countries in the world have full schools open at the moment. I'll tell you now, there's not many. And we need to make sure that we get this right. So what I've said very clearly is we will be reviewing this on May the 15th. And now the principals need to put in place a plan for the teachers in terms of social distancing, and also a plan for that morning drop-off and that afternoon pickup. It's really important that parents don't congregate. So we've got till the 15th of May to get all of those things in place. And my intention is clearly to get more student and teacher interaction. So a lot of work needs to happen over the next couple of weeks.
Don't you trust the federal government's chief medical officers?
I've got my own health officer and she's really good, and even the Prime Minister himself said that there is more chance of the teachers contracting that coronavirus in their tea rooms and their staff rooms. So what are the plans to make our teachers safe? What are our plans to make our kids safe? And what are our plans to make the parents safe? I'm not going to rush this. I will be getting it right, because I'll tell you what, if there is an outbreak in a school, the first people who will get blamed will be the premiers. Right. Unfortunately, it will not be the Prime Minister.
So you don't trust the Prime Minister and Chief Medical Officer's advice in regards to schools?
No, they've actually said the same thing about teachers. Nothing I'm saying is contradicting what the Chief Health Officer has said. So we have got a very measured approach here in Queensland. I'm very confident that my Education Minister We'll be speaking with the Principals Association. We'll be speaking with the parents' communities, the P&Cs, to put in place plans for that 15th of May decision. If you want, I'll be right back here on the 15th of May telling you what we're going to do.
Well, with respect, the Chief Medical Officer says that it's perfectly fine and safe for kids to go back to school, and the Prime Minister has encouraged kids to go back to school now.
Well, Carl, you tell me which countries in the world have schools fully operating right now in the midst of a world pandemic.
I know. All I'm saying here is that
come on, tell me.
No, there's confusion over the advice. If the Prime Minister is saying one thing...
You're putting allegations to me, and we will do it in a measured and structured way
Premier,
on the advice of our Chief Health Officer.
I'm not putting allegations to you. I'm just saying the Chief Medical Officer for the Prime Minister says one thing, says kids can go back to school. The Prime Minister says the same thing, and you're saying you're not following the advice.
And every state, no, I am following the advice, because every state is at different stages of their dealings with coronavirus.
Okay, really quickly before we...
in South Australia and West Australia...
Really quickly before we...
You asked me the question. They are in different stages. So let's be sensible here, and let's not just do the quick, 3 or 4 weeks ago, your program and everyone else around Australia was screaming at us to shut the schools down. And the schools were closed, and we were in a world pandemic, and we will open it as we see fit.
Yeah.
And we will listen to the health advice, but I'm not going to put my teachers at risk. I'm not going to put the general public and the parents at risk either.
I agree with you, by the way. I've agreed with just putting the alternate view.
Well,
just really quickly, Rugby League.
You.
Rugby League. What do we think? Yay or nay?
What do we think? Well, they've sent the proposal in, and I've sent it to the Chief Health Officer. Look, I want to see sports start up. Everyone wants to see sports start up. But it's got to be safe for the players and safe for the community. So let's get all of those things ticked off and see where we go.
Thanks for your time this morning, Premier. It's always fun.
Anytime, Carl. Love having a discussion and a debate. It's always healthy.
Love it. Thank you, Premier.